Welcome to Gimcrack Video. How may I help you?
Hey, what's going on, man? You got anything new to watch?
No, but we are running a special on sequels.
Is that over there on that shelf that says that it's not for human consumption?
No, on the one right next to it, it says 3 for $1.
Well, let's just grab some. What could go wrong?
Enjoy your selection.
Do you like Bloomberg? Because I think the otters are really cute. But I paired them
Are
with
you
a
kidding
rat.
me? I love the otters so much. I have a dedicated otter deck, and it is my favorite. And I am still working on it because it is not perfect yet.
So I actually spliced my otters with rats so that I have my long rat deck. Because the otters are just like long rats. They're little.
Did someone say long rat? You're really gonna love Thanksgiving this year. No, I'm kidding. I know that Spec is a vegetarian, so I got these tuna sandwiches from Subway. I've been assured there's no real tuna in them or anything that we can consider meat.
They increased the price of sandwiches to like $14.
Yeah, I didn't pay for these. They were just sitting by the curb.
Oh, you got them from the Subway. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Ah,
I know it's not a traditional Thanksgiving dinner, but I'm glad we could all get together like this.
Gobble gobble, motherfuckers.
Dustin, what are you doing here? I thought I changed the locks.
Locks can't stop me, Patrick. I wanted to join you guys here for your little Thanksgiving party.
Well, this has been kind of a potluck Thanksgiving. What did you bring?
Oh, I heard that Cammy was are you vegetarian, vegan, something like that? Brought some non-alcoholic beer for you.
Dustin,
No,
that's White Claw.
yeah, it's not beer. What's your fucking deal? Okay, well, since I've got you guys all gathered around here, thanks for coming, by the way. I know I kind of crashed Patrick's Thanksgiving, but we're gonna watch a movie, guys. You excited? I brought movies.
Zanes, I need a nap. I've already undone the top button on my pants.
No, don't.
Continue to keep going because we're watching Thankskilling 3.
This movie is such a slog.
Well, first, let me say happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and welcome to all of our listeners around the world as we celebrate here on the Found on Shelf podcast. We've got friends gathered around to enjoy some. We enjoyed some fine cinema here. We watched a movie. Now we can kind of sit around and talk about it. So, what you guys got?
Thankskilling 3. Thankskilling 3 is inflicted upon you.
Hey, that's kind of our whole brand, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the whole point of the podcast is the movie gets inflicted upon you.
Yeah, it kind of started out as like an exploration of strange movies, and then it just devolved into us punishing each other in escalations.
And then inviting other people in to torture them as well. So, welcome to the party.
I felt like y'all were so niceies last time to me. I had a blast. Was that just the bait?
It was.
The first one's always free.
Yes.
You can't go full BDSM the first time. You have to explain the process.
Right.
You got to know what you're getting into.
They got to warm us up.
I don't really know how sexual I want to make the analogy of our show, just because consent does not really factor into what happens on this show.
I mean, your show is already far sexier than this movie was.
It started off sexy.
I have to say, for the first 10 minutes of this movie, I am fucking on board. This is amazing. This is cinema. Nice tits in space will go down as one of the best lines I have ever heard in my goddamn life. This is amazing. Things do tend to pivot after that. However,
well, before we get there, who wants to do a pitch about the movie? Well, actually, everybody. Why doesn't everybody introduce themselves? We've got a lot of people in here right now. So you got myself, Dustin. You got Patrick.
No, I think what we should say is hello and welcome to the Found on Shelf podcast, a podcast that doesn't let a thing like dignity get in the way of a good time or a bad time. And this is our Thanksgiving episode in which we are doing the third film in the franchise, this time a Thanksgiving franchise. And I do have a lot of questions about how this movie qualifies. We're going to get to that. Mm-hmm. I am your I don't know, barely hanging on host at this point, Patrick, and with me today is my maniacal and possibly homicidal co-host, Dustin. And we have some special guests on, and we're going to do a roll call and sound off in just a minute. Since it's our Thanksgiving episode, we decided to gather some family relatives. So today with us on our show, we have my wife, Becca.
Hello.
And our friends Spec and Cammy.
We're here.
Spec and Cammy, if this is your multiple appearance on the show, we can now call you friends of the pod, Spec and Cammy.
Ooh. Oh my God. This is what I get for being a 3-time guest, baby.
Yeah, friend of the pod.
Status upgrade.
Look, I'm just worming myself into the third co-host spot.
All right.
The fan wiki is really being updated as we speak.
Oh, we'll love to see that. So yeah, and that's what we got. And then we are watching like you said, the third part of a movie, or part 3 of a movie series. We're watching Thankskilling Part 3. So is anybody familiar with the fine Thankskilling franchise?
Is there a franchise?
Yes.
You mean this didn't just spawn fully formed as a third movie?
It wouldn't be the first time.
This is yes. Part 1 was just simply Thankskilling, and it was this director's first full length, and
then Thankskilling 3 was the second in the franchise, right?
Well, but it's Part 3.
Is it Part 3 or is it?
I mean, if you watch the movie, you'll see that Part 2 was all destroyed, so we never got a chance to watch it. So this is Part 3.
Oh, that's canon. Is that what they were going for?
Yes. So Part 1 was in tone was completely different. It was.
Shocker.
It was more like a slasher in the woods kind of film. It was still humor. It's still funny. It's still poking fun at the genre.
Was Turkey still the bad guy?
Turkey was still the bad guy. Yeah.
Thank God.
Yes, and Turkey was the only puppeted character in the first one.
Oh, that's such a shame, though. Like, out of all the things this movie is, a subpar Muppet movie, because it does the puppets really well.
I take umbrage with the assumption that this movie is a comedy.
You didn't laugh?
I think I exhaled kind of hard from my nose like 3 times.
All right.
Have you ever had a fear response where you can only sit there and laugh because you can't believe that something is happening?
Yeah, it's called work.
So that was the first movie. Then the movie spawned a theatrical musical. There was Thankskilling the musical.
I don't believe that.
That was a thing, and it actually, I think, premiered in Seattle.
This is the problem here.
Dustin fucking with us.
No. I want to drill down into this because this is what I had a question about. See, the premise of Rocksgiving is that we pick musicals, or at least movies that are in some way about music. Which I could not tell that this one was, except for a couple of extended music video sequences, but not really to the same extent of like I would call it a musical. So there was in relation to this an independent production, Thankskilling the musical.
Yes.
Was there a cast recording?
Oh yes, there's a cast recording. You could go and you could purchase the cast recording if you'd like. iTunes, Amazon, all that stuff. And yeah, it did. The world premiere of Thankskilling the musical was on November 14th, 2013 at the Cornish Playhouse Studio at Seattle Center.
Okay, so Spec and Cammy, this is from your neck of the woods. I'm blaming you.
Okay, that's not fair.
We weren't here.
In 2013, I wasn't in Seattle yet.
Yeah, association.
All right, then I'm blaming you for all of Texas.
I already get that.
Okay, so I mean,
I guess that leaves Dustin with dysentery.
Oh, because Oregon, yeah.
Yes, but I'm in Washington as well, so
he's just straddling that state line.
I am. I like to just ride that line.
Really getting double teamed there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the third movie. Now,
Sure.
I think Becca had a question about how you came to find these movies.
Yes.
I don't know. The
Where?
movies just come to me.
No, honestly, seriously. Where on God's good internet did you find out about this?
It's probably Tubi. I mean, honestly, it's probably just searching Tubi and just going, "What the hell is this? I need to watch it." So I blame everything on Tubi. Tubi really gets me. They just understand me, and I
How
appreciate
much
them.
free time do you have? You're a married man.
With
aren't you?
child.
I
With
know.
child.
It is not much free time. I don't get to watch. I get to like roll through and be like, I want to watch that movie, and then never actually watch it until it comes time to watch it for the podcast, which is what happened in this situation because I had never seen any of the movies, and I just decided to force everyone else to watch them.
And if you've listened to our Coffin Show episode, you know what? That is a bad idea.
No,
Every time.
I listened to the Coffin Joe episode.
At least this movie was better than Coffin Joe.
Yeah.
Women survived this movie.
Well, did they?
Well, it depends on whether Yomi counts.
I don't know what Yomi counts as.
And did she survive or did she ascend?
Unclear.
Do we want to understand why this movie has decided to invent the puppet?
Yeah, I don't really know. I thought maybe going back and watching the first one, I thought maybe the puppet would be involved, but no, this whole world of puppets was just invented for part 3. I mean, there might have been some more in part 2. I didn't get a chance to watch that because
It was only invented to link back to part 2 with the space theming so we could get the Star Wars connection.
Okay, hold on. Before we go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, somebody needs to do some elevator pitches.
Okay, so here's my thing. Is I was gonna say this seems to me like this movie is like I know it's a third new movie, but everything in it screams I have just finished my degree in filmmaking, and me and all my bros who taking classes in puppetry and special effects, we're gonna make a movie because we can do that now. We have the skills, but we didn't make friends with anybody in the creative writing department. Right?
Spec, I said the exact same thing to Patrick. Those exact words. I also said, I don't think a woman touched the scripts at all, and it shows.
I don't think a woman would
you're
want
correct
to
in
touch this script.
So, okay, obviously I didn't like this movie, but my problem is I know who this movie is for. Like, I see the vision.
Yeah, 13-year-old boys.
Exactly, but I don't feel like it succeeds in its vision. Do you feel me? Like,
Oh no, if I was 13, I would think this is funny.
how? They're like,
I think it's
okay, because it's clearly for like the lull. This is clearly a movie for the people who grew up in the lull random generation. Like, I'm aware, like I know it, but like it doesn't go far enough.
This is for the people who played Cards Against Humanity before knowing any of the words and just pretended they knew.
But like, it's not like my
But
thing is
that's an insult to Cards Against Humanity. It's not that smart.
it's not that shocking though. Like there was nothing there that made me go, ugh. Like nothing bothered me. It bored me to tears. This movie bored me.
wow, it bored. I don't see how it. Wow, okay.
We were excited for commercials, and the one time the commercials were coming up and didn't, our hearts fell.
So if I could circle back to the format of the show, Spec, is that your 30-second elevator pitch on this fucking movie?
I don't want people to watch this movie.
Well, you were kind of close. The first movie they did out of college was the first Thankskilling, and that was done with like a $3,500 budget with some friends. But he was actually an intern under Wes Craven for a while when he was in college.
It doesn't show.
No, actually, if
No?
you've seen late Wes Craven films, it definitely shows.
Yeah, he also, let's see, he also did the Critters like short fan film thing, and he did a movie that actually, like, all joking aside, actually does look kind of good, called The Headhunter, and it's about like is a medieval warrior killing monsters and stuff. It looked actually pretty cool, but yeah, it wasn't much else, just a couple of short films and stuff. But he did this one off of a Kickstarter budget of $100,000.
Now, I figured that when we got to the end and there's like producers and there's like 200 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all stayed for the credits? I think this is the first time I ducked out immediately.
Oh, then you missed the song at the end.
I'm not sad about it.
Oh, well, you know what? Just in case you are,
Yeah.
I clipped it for you.
Okay.
So you're good. You're good. You'll get it. So does anyone else want? Because I couldn't. I mean, the trailers that I found were just pretty much all music. So I was like, I'm not going to bother with this.
How are they all music? They're so words.
Well, I do have a pitch.
Go
Do you
for it.
want a Thanksgiving themed Muppet movie done by the creators of South Park, but not affiliated with any of those brands?
See, I really think it's more Adult Swim for like the first hour.
Yeah, I agree. Like,
Mhm.
like, okay, so, all right, to talk about the humor, because I know we're going to talk about everything, but like, when I say this isn't a comedy, every scene is shot with a different idea of what kind of comedy it wants to be.
Yes,
and none
exactly.
of it is cohesive.
Right, because like the Long Pike guy is doing Will Ferrell.
Yes.
I like the
But,
long
like-
guy.
His name was Jeff. Put some respect on it.
You remember his name?
Jefferson.
Well, he wasn't
Jeff.
Uncle Donnie.
You remember his name?
Donnie.
He had Uncle before.
Wait, I just pulled up the IMDb and I am surprised that all of the voices weren't done by one person because I really thought they were.
Well,
There's,
the
like,
majority
credits.
of the voices were done. The director Jordan Downey did like
He did
a ton of
Turkey.
voices.
He did okay. Well,
Yeah.
there's a lot of credited roles here.
He did Turkey, he did Yomi, he did Wise Turkey, and he did Muff.
Okay.
So who did the turkey wife?
Benjamin Seaman? Benjamin.
Yes. Who? Sure, call him Seaman. That's fine. He's
So
oddly
Bencombe-
enough, he does a
and-
lot of writing for a lot of like kids cartoon movies and kids cartoon TV shows and stuff.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Chibiverse, Kiss, Animal Kingdom, Haley Banks Disney mini movie marathon. Oh, look, Broken Karaoke. Did he write the bread song?
Oh, that would be interesting if he did.
Yes. Holy shit!
I just want to eat
Holy
bread.
shit! Oh my god,
No,
we
comes
have a
around.
unifying theme for November. Holy
Yes,
god!
oh my God. Wow. And we have a unifying theme, and his name is Benjamin.
It's all
Isn't
about the
happy
Benjamins.
Benjamin Simon.
Do you still have the song on your soundboard?
I'd have to get rid of
Zog zig zog ziggy ziggy zog.
I'd have to get rid of that.
Fucking damn.
What happened? What did we watch? We had Zombie 3 soundboard outro. Okay, give me just a quick second, and I think this is it.
It's nice you made a salad, but it's kind of highfalutin. I'd rather sing a ballad on how much I love gluten.
Oh, come on, Scratch. Just give it a try.
I'd rather have a loaf of this marble rye. I really need a pita with some garlic naan. Toast from this ghost, I could go on and on. Classic matcha, stuffing down muffins, focaccia, I gotcha!
Well, Scratch, have a taste of the spring mix.
Maybe after these breadsticks.
How long are we going to listen to this? Just
I prefer pumpernickel.
I heard something about
I just
stuffing
wanna
muffins
eat
and like
bread.
blacked out.
Pass me butter to spread.
Okay, anyway, that was I want to eat bread.
A very relatable song.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, if that's one thing that's going to bring us all to the table, I think that's what it should be.
He also wrote a video short called G-rated Fight Club, as well as R-rated Mary Poppins.
Are both of those the same combined skit?
That was they're 3 years apart.
I love the way your mind works. I wish it were so.
All right, he's the voice of the mother of a turkey. Well, should we start? Do we want to try to talk about the movie?
I'm gonna gobble your balls.
I have a pitch.
Okay, Patrick has a pitch. We'll pause on gargling balls.
All right, Thankskilling 3 is a loving tribute to the greatest movie of all time, Thankskilling 2, and you should watch it.
See, I'm not convinced.
You're not convinced? All right, here. An evil undead turkey has a chainsaw dick. And if you don't want to watch that, get the fuck off my podcast.
Gobble gobble, motherfucker.
It's really a story about a father and son learning to work together towards a common goal until the son realizes the father is taking advantage of him.
I thought it was really a story about family learning to hate.
And if that's not Thanksgiving, I don't know what is.
All right, let's start the show.
Does your Thanksgiving start the same way this movie starts?
Unfortunately, there's a complete lack of tits in space.
Ah, damn it. All right. Well, there you go. Yeah, it just starts up with a really up close shot of a breast, and then it zooms out. This is exactly how part one started, except for it was a pilgrim. with her tits out running around. Oddly enough, same actress.
Let's dial in as we pan out from the close-up. What we see is that they are in literal boob windows in a spacesuit because she's floating in space.
And all I could think of, if I had more time, I'd try to make an audio clip of it, is the, remember the pigs in space from Muppets?
Yeah.
I just kept thinking, tits in space.
Well, they do that for you.
Sort of. He just does it a little bit more crassly than I would.
I mean, rather than just a statement, his is a compliment.
Yes, I would. It'd be, a little. I just wouldn't be like, nice tits, bitch.
In space.
In space. I just figured
that line is great.
That line did make something horrible sounding funny.
After the intro, just leave.
Well, that just means you've gotten through Thankskilling 2.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Pretty much.
Thankskilling 2.
The actress that was in that was her name was Wanda Lust.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, please read off the names. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to read off all the names, but
you read off some of these names.
Well, in 2008, she was in a film called Cock Smoking Grannies.
Mm-hmm.
Various movies of that ilk.
I am curious. What does the T stand for in MILF?
I don't know.
Testosterone.
Maybe.
Yeah, MILTF. I don't. Is there like a BLT involved?
There's MILF does a brother good. Jesus Christ. These are some evocative titles. Okay. She was in Bust a Nut 5.
And 6.
Yeah. Mature Kink Orgy 7, which I hear makes Backdoor Sluts 9 look like Naughty Nurses 2.
Yeah, so she's an adult film star that specializes in.
Let's pause here. At least these people knew that if they wanted to put nudity on screen, they knew they could hire an adult actress to do that, as opposed to the producers behind Things, which were like, what if we solicit a prostitute to be in our movie and then get arrested for doing that?
Yeah, that could be a problem.
Things.
Yes,
It sure beats having an underage actress coerced into the job.
Oh, that was the other movie. Oh, great. Now we're spilling drinks. Jesus, can't take you guys anywhere.
It's I've drunk too much and now I'm spilling my drink.
Hold up, I've got it.
See, I feel like I disappointed Dustin because I promised I would show up drunk to this, but I am so tired. I have showed up with coffee instead.
Well,
I've got that rum and coke in me.
So I want to pause here, as we have previously mentioned that Spec and Cam, you were straight edge canonically. That's how bad this movie was, Dustin. You've driven them to drink. Look at what you've done.
Any straightness that I was alleged to have, I'm kind of at a 90-degree angle there, my friend.
She lost that when she started taking estrogen. I don't know if we can use that joke.
I went a little serpentine there.
Prepare to beat off.
So I don't have a detour from that one.
Okay, but so I did appreciate the turkey getting the chainsaw dick.
Yeah,
but he
gender-affirming surgery.
But he loses it, right?
Okay, so let's go back to canonically.
Yeah,
the movie starts. The movie starts with an intro in space, right? There's a space scene, but then we find out that's actually a scene from a different movie called Thankskilling 2, the sequel to Thankskilling. And Thankskilling 2 is so goddamn bad they round up every copy on Earth and they burn it in a pile, right? This is a reference to the E.T. video game, which was famously buried in a landfill. And Turkey, who was living his best life as a miserable dad in a sitcom, finds out that his movie is been destroyed, and then he flips this shit and murders his family and leaves the sitcom set to go find a copy of Thankskilling 2, which is the genesis of the film, correct? That's the main driving point from this point forward, right?
Yes.
The other major player in this movie, well, there's two more. One is, while this sitcom is happening, we see a commercial for a turkey plucking project made by a man called Uncle Donnie. Now, Uncle Donnie is dressed as if he is an extra on an independent production of Hamilton.
The all-white cast of Hamilton.
The music's much worse. And then the other major player is a puppet named Yomi. Now, we see Yomi in a forest world, which we later infer is actually on another planet.
Yeah? See, you're paying attention.
Another puppet-like entity flies up out of Yumi. We are told this is her mind, but can anyone tell me what it actually looks like?
I can't be the only one who thought it looked like a flying ghost uterus.
Yeah.
We don't know what a Muppet from Space Mines look like. To us, I mean, maybe their uterus looks
Look, Dustin, you have a kid, so I hope you know what they look like at this point.
I mean, you don't put your head in there.
No.
No, it's too easy. I think we're making Patrick very uncomfortable.
Oh, I could make him even more uncomfortable. Where is my uterus? It's flying in space.
That's a different movie. Wait, no, shit. That's a Roger Corman movie with the space uterus. Fuck. What was that movie? Hold on.
Oh, yeah. You talked about that one time.
Patrick furiously Googling space uterus movie. Yomi loses her vagina mind and then lands on Earth.
Her mindgina.
Her mindgina.
And then, yeah, apparently lands on Earth in a trash dumpster.
Yes. And is greeted by a Conker's Bad Fur Day extra, which is a talking trash pile, which I have to say was kind of cute. Like, that's my thing. The puppets are actually very well done and very charming. She is given what I have to assume is the last copy of Thankskilling 2 from the trash. And she puts it in a backpack. Do what?
Yeah, her meowmer. Her meowmer back. Yeah. And it's funny because when Turkey is sitting at home and they're, doing the little sitcom-y bit, they have they're watching like news, and that's when they're talking about how Thankskilling 2 is no more, and they called it a mega budgeted kid friendly sequel. And I'm like, that movie that just started with the Tits in Space, that's their kid friendly sequel.
Ever since the Hays Code got lifted.
And then we get the commercial for Meowmer, which I had to just clip a little bit of. The whole commercial was great, but I like the
Get our hearts pumping and our meats flapping. Take it away, Clammy.
My name's Clammy. Yeah, I'm one of the bunch. They all love me because I got carpet to mine.
Who doesn't like that? It's a nice catchy tune.
Why do they want to be like early Newgrounds animation so bad?
Yeah, this particular one really, really dialed into that like kind of iteration. Okay, but let's talk about the specs comment earlier, or at least our discussion earlier. By the way, I did drop the spaceship into the Discord.
Wow, that really is a
with extras. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With tits, apparently.
Yeah, Space Tits in Space. It's the name of the episode, Space Tits in Space.
It might be.
It should be. I don't think it's... Go ahead, sorry.
I mean, but yeah, so everyone's going for a different style of comedy. Feels like Newgrounds. There's the Adult Swim nature of everything else we've watched, especially with the Turkey sitcom is very like Too Many Cooks, and then it pivots to the Long Pack guy doing Will Ferrell, and then also you do have that fact that towards the end of the episode really does feel like exactly 2009 to 2013 era South Park, where they had sci-fi plots. And specifically, the voice actors definitely sound like they watched a lot of South Park because it's doing that specific voice. So there's a lot of like conflicting versions of comedies they are trying to ape in the same thing.
I mean, it definitely feels like they brought in Yomi for the Star Wars connection.
Well, I feel like Yomi might possibly be Avenue Q. The thing that's going on with the main driving part of the plot of Thankskilling 3 trying to find Thankskilling 2 is also a Spaceballs joke. If you remember Spaceballs, there's Spaceballs 2, The Quest for More Money. The movie
now
that
they're
doesn't
actually
exist.
making Spaceballs 2.
Are they making Spaceballs 2 or are they making Spaceballs 3, The Search for Spaceballs 2?
I thought they're making Spaceballs 2. I don't know if they're going to call it.
Mel Brooks is 90. It's not going to be the same thing.
If they make Spaceballs 3 in the search of Spaceballs 2, then that's just going to validate Thankskilling 3 even more.
No, they really dedicate to the bit. What they're going to do is make Spaceballs 2 and then pull it from shelves and burn it before making Spaceballs 3.
Let's be real. The people making this are never going to put it on shelves.
It was never meant for shelves.
It was never meant to be found on shelves.
That's where we find it. I mean, I think that this movie could have been better if it were done in like an episodes of Adult Swim in like early 2000s. Like
okay,
if
but
you've
we're
got,
not at that point in the podcast yet.
I know. But you guys and Patrick talking about this made me think, oh yeah, you know what? That could have probably worked better.
See,
So
I
what you
enjoyed
do
it,
is
but
take a sticky note and put that to the side.
But here's the thing is, y'all invoked the Spaceballs. So now Cammy, who has been trying to lead into this the whole night, needs to talk about the Star Wars connection.
What Star Wars connection did you possibly find?
Oh, you want to know?
Was it the anal kisses?
No, what about an esoteric order of wise turkey who split into two factions? What about a roguelike space dandy and their much taller friend who is hard to understand, but the one thing that's clear is that they share a sexual relationship? What about going through a cave to discover a hidden or lost part of yourself only to leave before discovering that missing component? What about getting your hand cut off by the big bad? What about a conflict between father and son?
She's on to something here. It's Star Wars. I didn't realize that. Wow. This is the greatest Star Wars spoof of all time.
Stop validating Joseph Campbell.
Stop validating him.
We didn't talk about our little worm and robot friend.
Omi had a real hero's journey.
And look, it starts in space and it ends in space. So like poetry, it rhymes.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Muff and Rhonda.
Throughout this movie, there's a giant robot that has like a melted Cthulhu face, and his lover, a worm that's perched on his shoulder. And the Lord's name is Rhonda, right? Two things. Firstly, I do want to note that Alf's girlfriend from Mailback's name was Rhonda. And so I just feel like that's important. The entire reason this fucking worm is named fucking Rhonda is halfway through the movie. The turkey gets pinned to the pluckinator or whatever the fuck. And he screams out, "Help me, Rhonda." And I screamed.
Mm-hmm.
Becca can validate that.
Can confirm.
I thought the other thing was to allude to the fact that his dick cut off and he had sex with turkey.
That was a bonus. The whole thing was a Beach Boys joke, and then they were like, "But what if we can get this in here?" Yeah, it's 2013. This shit's funny, right?
Okay, so here's my thought, is that the worm wasn't named Rhonda until after they made that joke, and then they had to go back and redub everything to establish that the worm's name was Rhonda.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if they did that backwards, yeah.
I believe it. It's part of my headcanon now.
So did the Pluckmaster show up in the first movie?
No, there was nobody in this was in the first movie except for Turkey.
And somehow I don't believe the turkey in this movie was the same turkey from Thankskilling 1.
Yes, it's supposed to be because he's
No. I'm not saying that he's not supposed to be the same turkey, but it's not the same turkey.
What do you mean?
You've lost me.
I don't get it.
I'm saying they changed his character. It's like they changed who he was. They changed his inherent turkeyness.
You're not the same anymore, turkey. You've changed.
He was, well, no, because he still made really crass jokes. He still said "gobble gobble motherfucker." At one point in the first one, he was wearing somebody's face and just pretending to be him, which was kind of funny.
Oh, that's Rob Zombie.
Yes, Rob Zombie is the turkey. You've heard it here first. But Muff, our big robot, the man in the suit of Muff, is our good close friend of the podcast and editor of this fine movie, Alan Maxon. Mr. Christmas with Cookie was Muff. Not the voice, but the puppetry of him. The puppetry of Muff.
Oh, so that's how you found this movie.
No, I didn't even know. What's funny is I told Alan that I was going to watch this movie and asked him if he wanted to. I was trying to see, if he wanted to go on for a movie. And he's like, "Oh, wait till you see who edited Thanksgiving 3." And then I looked it up. I was like, "Oh shit, it was you." Like, okay. But I had no clue that he was involved in this movie until after I had already selected it.
He's really going to love how generous we are to this.
I told him I thought it was great. So.
I mean, there's only so much editing.
You've really got to disclose when friends of the pod are involved in the movies we're talking, because I am a judgy fucking bitch.
And he didn't write it. He didn't direct it. He's okay. He just edited it.
I don't know. If I edited something and someone was like, "Yeah, that sucked," I think I might take it personally. This movie has too much going on and none of it matters.
Found on Shelf understands that while Thanksgiving can bring people together, it can also create a lot of tension. That's why we've partnered with this episode's sponsor, Cattle Prods or Us. The holidays can be a difficult time for navigating family relationships, and especially this year, you can better manage the stress with the Ultimatum Boundary Enforcer from Cattle Prods or Us. Did your Aunt Edna get a little too drunk and want to share unprompted that she just doesn't agree with your lifestyle? Reinforce that boundary with a quick zap from the Ultimatum Boundary Enforcer. It's a quick and efficient solution to managing difficult conversations with difficult people. Is your country-fried fascist uncle talking about soft men and hard times again? Redirect the conversation with a quick jolt from the Boundary Enforcer. The Ultimatum Boundary Enforcer is a collapsible cattle prod built for portability. Just a flick of the wrist will extend the prod, and the motion will automatically activate the device for a fast and effective delivery system. Make your parents stop referring to your husband of 5 years as your friend. Help relatives use your correct pronouns with a little electric encouragement. Is your Christian nationalist cousin trying to say grace in a way that has terrified the children in the house? The Ultimatum can solve that issue, and honestly, they'll probably just think they had a religious experience anyway. The Ultimatum Boundary Enforcer from Cattle Prods or Us. If you have to go home, you can at least make it fun.
It is a lot that's happening. So where we're at kind of in this discussion 45 minutes later is Turkey's set out to go find his copy of Thankskilling 2, and he is riding on the back of a seagull taxi and then pushes his son off, and his son splats on the ground dead, and then he uses turkey magic, resurrects his son's soul to go find the copy of.
And you see, the seagull taxi was foreshadowed in the commercial during the sitcom section, so it wraps back to address a former scene.
Speaking of rapping, now we've got You don't like Flois?
It's not the first time seeing a white old lady take on some pretty problematic characteristics for humor.
Yeah.
I'm kind of done with it.
It's bad enough when my grandma is just openly racist.
I will say I applaud them for not having an actual actress, but instead deciding to make the worst looking puppet in the whole movie.
I hate Flois.
I love Flois.
Look, I finished this movie and I'm like, oh no, they're going to love it and I'm going to hate it. And I'm going to have to go on there and defend myself.
Just me. I love trash. What can I say?
I'm with you on the first 2 minutes of this movie. I was down for the direct, because I thought the whole movie was just going to be trying to find a copy of Thankskilling 2, but instead they take that idea and they warp it in such a strange method. So since we are roughly 50 minutes into this discussion and have at no point actually talked about the order of operations in this movie, the movie begins with the intro in space. We find out about the movies and that it's all part of Thankskilling 2, and that Turkey is out to get Thankskilling 2. So he to do this, he murders his son, enslaves his soul through a spell to go find the only remaining copy of Thankskilling 2 and then become that copy?
Yeah, sure.
He finds the copy, and he is the copy.
He want the copy, but he is the copy. That's a drawfee joke for literally us too.
He's the offspring of his father, and he is become the offspring of his father's first movie.
That is way too deep for this.
Say that Thankskilling 2 is his father's first movie? Was Thankskilling 1 not canonically filmed in this universe?
No, I don't think it's a movie.
But he became Thankskilling 2, which was the sequel to the first one.
See, I was expecting this to be the kind of thing they're wanting, like absolute stoner comedy, but they didn't commit to it.
We're really approaching this movie in a very Memento style. It's very prestige for your podcast.
I told Patrick she should have gotten stoned or drunk before watching this. I think it would have made it a better film.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't really help till I started Dissociation.
That's the first thing I sent Patrick, because we watched on Tubi, and there's ads on Tubi. So the first ad popped up, and I text Patrick, and I'm like, I do not smoke enough weed for this movie.
Yeah, I think that's a prerequisite for coming into this film. That it should come with the copy of the film. It just comes with like a tab of acid. You're just like, here you go, have fun.
You click it on the Tubi app, and then just the doorbell rings. It's a nice delivery.
What a world.
Where were we at? We have this movie's way too long, by the way.
Wait, you know where we're at? We're at.
You think I want to hear my own mother say, last night I grabbed onto D'Angelo's cock and put it in my mouth? You think that's what I want to hear from my mom?
We're at the guy talking to his mother about.
See, this is the difference. Dustin laughed at that.
Yeah, I did. The way he deadpan seriously said it was like, it just made me laugh.
Again, he's going for Will Ferrell.
Yeah. Yeah, the super serious but ridiculous.
I am not known for my love of Will Ferrell movies.
I forgot. He's our Obi-Wan. He gets killed, and then,
he gets killed.
And then invites everybody else to heaven, yes.
Except for Yomi. Okay, that was the last time I did the kind of like, oh yeah, that's actually funny in the movie. I didn't laugh. I was like, oh, that's funny. Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
I don't know if it matters. This movie's all over the damn place.
That's my problem with this movie is like, it's way too long. It is so long.
You were saying we're like 40 minutes into the podcast, and honestly, 40 minutes into the film is probably when we get to that point.
I wrote it down. Minute 45 is when the trip starts. So hopefully you ate your edible or you dropped your acid at the right time so that at minute 45 you can enjoy the nice little sounds and lights show.
It's like Wizard of Oz and Pink Floyd. It's just
on the commentary of how long this movie is. When I paused it at the hour-long minute mark and saw that it is 30 minutes left, Becca just screamed, "How?"
I'm saying.
You know why I think that it worked so well for me is I watched it in chunks. I didn't watch it the first time all in one sitting. I watched it for like 20 minutes and then another 20 minutes. I think that's the best way to watch this movie, perhaps. If you're not going to be stoned, I watch these movies as closely as somebody with ADHD can.
That's not fair.
No, that's fair.
Well, that's why I watch it for 20 minutes at a time.
Since we're all over the place, I didn't take fucking notes in this movie. I said fuck this movie. But I actually, to be honest with you, that's being dismissive of this movie. Let me be real here. I don't take notes when I watch these movies anymore. I used to, but I gave up like 3 months ago.
I know. I can tell. We can tell. I can hear you clicking through IMDb in the middle of an episode. However, I go through and watch the movie once completely through, and then I go and watch it again and make notes, and then I go through and pull out clowns. Pull out. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes here.
The truth comes out.
The word cock and glaucoma kind of blended together, and I just said clown.
Dustin is a big fan of the Ass Clowns franchise.
Hold on, you were wanting to pull out clock or glaucoma?
Yeah, well, because they say the line about glaucoma.
Track 3 is dope. It'll make you shit. That's why I call it a diaper film.
I got glaucoma. I got a Glock. You in a coma. Can't see shit.
That was funny. Can't see shit.
Is it funny? I don't find that funny. Although, to be fair, me and Patrick have confirmed that we have very differing views on what comedy is.
Mm-hmm. I like absurdist type stuff, things that are just kind of outlandish and out there, and it just gives me a
oh
big
really
chuckle.
The Gen Xer likes that. I'm shocked.
I love this. This is Tits' real Thanksgiving. Becca did, however, take notes. Very furious notes.
The notes were only taken furiously because I was so furious with the movie.
Oh no!
I want to hear them.
Everybody down with this pick.
It could have been a good movie.
Yeah, most of the things we do could have been good.
I was so impressed by their puppetry.
Yeah, like I thought the puppets were charming. You know how some movies they'll say, well, they're more than the sum of their parts. This is the opposite. This is it's less than the sum of its parts.
Their parts are great.
Like the puppets are charming. It's filmed pretty well. Like they know what they're doing in the camera and the lighting and everything. Like there was clearly a lot of craft on display.
Yeah, and it was edited fantastically. But cohesively as a story, yes, it did just kind of fall apart.
I know you don't come to these movies for this story. I'm not expecting like was not organized very well as a story. Like like I said, there's a lot going on. None of it really connects to each other. And like the characters don't really do anything. There's like a bunch of different scenes, but they don't connect to each other. It's the most running around a singular house without always being running around a singular house. I don't know how to explain it. It's less than the sum of its parts, is what I'm saying. It's just, it doesn't add up.
It was, I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. There needed to be a little bit more of a story. I love, like I said, I laughed,
Dustin,
but
you know we love you, right?
I do. Is this an intervention? Is this like it started off with him looking for the last copy of the movie, and then it was like, well, the copy will be able to put everyone else under a spell. But first, we're going to do some weird, like acid-induced music video homage to some weird 70s film that nobody's seen. I don't know what the hell is going on with those, but it was weird. Kind of the part we're at now. I don't know. We're around that part of the movie.
I think there was an insinuation that before the other copies were burned, they were going to perform the role of putting people under control from Turkey.
I don't know. I think it was like a plot that was just completely lost.
But I agree with Becca. There is a good movie in here, but it just didn't quite come together.
So my favorite parts are when it's a straight up horror movie. Like the lighting changes very dramatically. They do that really well, right? Everything gets darker. There's a red tint. Like the shit gets like oversaturated 80s horror, like homage, just beautiful. Love that shit. So it happens like several times. Like Turkey will say something that after the entire screen gets darker and redder, and then it goes in full horror movie mode. And the joke is that it's UC puppets doing it, but it's like very menacingly lit, and I love that shit. That shit's amazing.
But that's the thing. The puppets are well acted. The lighting is great, but how does it not click together? It's like you're using Legos and Duplo, and they're just not snapping.
I feel like they just like kept adding to it, and like there's one thing like to yes and it's like they just kept adding and adding, but nothing was gained. When Jeff was killed, I thought that's a pretty effective scene.
Oh my goodness, I actually really appreciated that. Like, it's this fascination, this lusting for the long pipe, and then you cut back to him, and he's slashed
and
to
he's
pieces.
giblets on the floor. I'm like, that's good. That can be funny.
Ooh, giblets.
Giblets. See, I think you guys are kind of warming up to this movie a little bit.
I forgot. We're not even halfway through the movie yet.
Okay, so we had tits in space.
No. We're well past that. We can't keep focusing on the tits in space, or else that's all we're going to be talking about.
That's the only thing I can focus on.
Nice tits.
So we've met Uncle Donnie's family. Well, no, because they're not his family, because his family's dead.
Yes, his family all died from the Buckmaster 3000.
All right.
Sorry.
The plot of the movie, from Donnie's perspective, is he wants to open Thanksgiving Land, a Thanksgiving-themed theme park, which sounds at least as bad as Bible Land. To do this, he has his friend who he employs, Jeff, long pike guy, who wants to be head of security and poke people with a long pike. And Jeff's mom is just there, who is Lois. Right, because of Flo, right? Because she's from the Wolf Town. And then you have Yomi, who because he just brings home strays apparently, and they're all hanging at the house. And Turkey finds them because Yomi has the copy of Thankskilling 2 in her backpack, and Turkey murders Jeff and then begins a psychedelic assault on all of them. The backstory for Donnie is that he was previously building a machine called the Pluckmaster, which would pluck a turkey.
Pluckmaster 3000, please.
Pluckmaster. Well, the Pluckmaster 3000 is a finished product. The Pluckmaster 1 is the one that's in his
okay, so yeah.
Which doesn't make sense for his story, by the way. We'll get back to that.
When has that ever mattered?
But he's got the prototype for the Pluckmaster, and his family dies in pursuit of getting it to work. And
it
so
requires a missing ingredient.
Right.
The barrels of stuffing.
We're too in the weeds now. Let's go.
They turn this on during the psychedelic fight. They run Turkey through it. At some point, Rhonda and Muff show up.
Yeah.
I like how even Patrick's struggling to remember what happens in this movie.
He's getting through it, though. He's getting through it.
All right, give him patience. Give him space.
Turkey is spit out through the Plugmaster and is dead in the yard outside. That shit looks cool. The Plugmaster then begins to talk as if he is goddamn Audrey too.
Yeah.
Now, you may continue.
Okay, so we're there. Worm is talking to Muff about how he was in Girthworm 6. What did my other notes say? Oh, this is where we go. This is where we go muff diving.
Yeah. Time to go muff diving.
Yeah, this is where the butt vortex is, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So
Excuse me, the ass vortex.
So Muff the robot has a vortex to shoot things into space, and it comes out of his butt.
Her.
I don't know. I think they refer to.
I'm pretty sure Muff gets she/her pronouns.
You're gonna make me look up the goddamn pronouns for Muff. Okay, hold on. Jesus. Thankskilling. 3. AO3.
Okay, they open their butt. We'll just go safe here. And the worm has to help the vortex open a little bit more, a little bit wider. And vortex shoots out of Muff's butt. And he calls it muff diving because you have to dive in there to get shot off into space. Yeah. And then in the meantime, Turkey's out there with skeleton turkeys getting rebuilt, but they can't find his dick, or his pee-pee as they call it. So he replaces it with a chainsaw and then yells gravy as homage to Evil Dead. See, now we got Evil Dead, we've got Star Wars, we've got a lot of references going on here.
And then
it doesn't make it good, but it's a lot of references.
And then Turkey cuts off Yomi's hand.
There's your other Star Wars reference you're talking about. Yes,
I hate that.
You hate that that there's so much connection.
So did we miss the entire part where they go into the closet to the wise turkey?
That's coming. We're not there yet, because first he's got to revive Yomi.
Right, by sticking his hand up her to bring her back to life.
Right.
But that happened while Turkey was still there. When Turkey cuts off Yomi's hand, he escapes to the hell dimension.
No.
Wait.
Because he...
Actually, no, Cammy is correct.
Ah, hell.
After he cuts a hand off, then he escapes. And then that's after... after he escapes into the oven or whatever, that's when he brings Yomi back to life by shoving his hand up inside her.
Before Turkey is killed, Turkey is chasing through the house, and somehow a different spiritual turkey entity summons them to the turkey underworld called the Feather World, which is just a force because it's cheap to shoot in the woods. Gives them the backstory of Turkey and does nothing else.
Does Slurp Dirk have to exist?
Just what?
Slurp and Dirk?
The two little birdies.
Yeah, because they don't trust you to actually pay attention, so they got to do some like weird mumblecore, little guys having a conversation over here.
I think a large part of your problem with this movie is you've internalized a lot of it. See, through years and years of exposure to this kind of material, I've learned to compartmentalize what I'm seeing. I don't remember a damn thing about anything you just said. And I'm more sane for it. Now, all of that compacts with interest into trauma I will one day have to resolve, but I don't have to if I don't acknowledge it.
It's going to hit you like a freight train.
Well, whenever you're ready to crack your egg, we'll be there for you.
Okay. So back to the Feather World. They get transported back, and then they kill Turkey. And so after Turkey resurrects with his skeleton turkey minions, which were fucking cool.
They were cool.
Every time there's a horror movie sequence, it's fucking cool. I want to.
The puppets are good.
Is that the Wes Craven influence coming through?
Could be.
Did you enjoy the turkey fight that was like a Super Nintendo game?
Only because hold on, we're not there yet, but only because they cheaped out and it was all vectorized and not true pixel graphics.
Okay, yeah.
Like if you're gonna do it, commit.
$100,000 budget. They work with what they got.
Then why do you need it?
Well, okay.
Because they got to fight, right?
On the Friday the 13th game?
Why'd you have to bring that up again?
I've already traumatized you once today with it.
Yes. So wait, where are we
now? Okay, so we cut off Yomi's hand. Turkey got the film, and he escaped to Turkey Hell, or maybe
Hell. Wait. Hold on. We learned something important. Yomi is not a puppet. She is what puppets are based off of.
The puppet. What in the god damn fuck?
The puppet as opposed to the puppeteer.
I don't know. I'm going to have to refer to Umberto Eco's seminal work, Puppetry, to find out.
Puppeteer of the penis. I don't know. So that was the important part of the lore that we picked up there, is that Yomi is what all puppets are based off of. Yomi and Rhonda put on turkey noses and decided to go into turkey hell in the oven.
Mm-hmm.
Where they meet a couple of rats that are playing butt cheese, where they eat cheese and then try to smell each other's butt to guess what they ate. Yeah, you gotta have the butt cheese. I mean, who doesn't play that game? It's fun. So then Turkey decides to play the movie for everybody, so they'll be cursed, and then it's another weird little acid music.
You have to take a moment to acknowledge that Yomi has mastered the game
of butt cheese. Yes.
So that shows a progression as a character and a level up in power.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I don't agree with that.
Turkey is going to use the last copy of Thankskilling to slash his son and broadcast it to every device in the world.
Through turkey hell magic.
Of course.
And so he's going to have everyone under his thrall aside from the Amish.
I think that's the only thing that can save us from the turkey apocalypse is the Amish. So, and from Blarth, the Franken turkey.
No, his name is Blarf.
Blarth.
Yes.
Blarth, yes.
Blarth.
And
that was kind of funny.
Another Star Wars like Darth Vader.
Turkey.
But wait. No. Because by your account, Turkey is Darth Vader.
But you also have like Darth whoever.
Gammy, how many Star Wars movies have you watched?
I think I watched 1 and 2, and then maybe 8.
You watched. No, 8 is the original trilogy, because the original trilogy
is 4, 5, 6. So I watched 7.
You also watched 7 and 8. You just didn't watch the last one. You didn't watch 9.
So I only really know John Campbell in the Hero's Journey.
It's Joseph Campbell, by the way. John Campbell's his brother. He actually believes that all stories are independent.
And also came up with the soup brand we all love today.
They just changed their name. They dropped the soup. Now they're just Campbell's. That's our most current news that we've got on this damn episode. Although the election just happened again, so. All right, so there's a Wilhelm scream. Did you catch the Wilhelm scream?
I did catch the Wilhelm scream.
Oh, yeah, right. Yes. Blarf does the Wilhelm scream. Yeah.
I know, because I turned to Cammie and I was like, "Was that a Wilhelm scream?" And she just looked at me, going, "Oh."
Then Yomi steals the movie, runs out. The worm dies. Muff squishes him and then blows off his own head.
Which was absurdly dark for this movie.
It went there fast. And yeah, apparently they had a lot of issues with that, with the Rhonda worm puppet breaking several times during this movie. Yeah, so if you notice, it looks kind of different every once in a while. Is
that the hot dog joke? Is that the goddamn puppet didn't work for them, so they just put it as a hot dog, and it's an in joke for them and them only?
Maybe I don't know, but I was reading some interview where it did break.
I am starting to think that the good folks at Gravitas Ventures don't have much gravitas in the films they produce.
I think they do, but they have gravitas for themselves, and they want to make this movie for themselves.
A self-gravitas.
Yes.
I will also say that when you watch this movie, you get the Gravitas Ventures title card. The second title card you see is a turkey joke. It says Triptodine Industries, right? The logo is like a joke on Cyberdyne.
Okay.
You know, I really picture like the finale to Bowfinger where they're all watching the movie they've made together and just tearfully watching in joy and appreciation for the art they came together to create that no one else would call art.
There's no way that is the thesis of the podcast.
Is the Triptodine logo the one that's shooting heroin?
Yeah. But the triangle's a reference to Cyberdyne.
See? They're clever.
I feel like we've skipped over an important part of Rhonda's character. We forgot to mention that Worm loves making worm, and I say this in quotation marks, puns. And they all suck, and they're not all puns.
On the 1-900 podcast, hot dog podcast, the Dog Zone, Robert Brockway will often start an episode by reading off the worst puns he generated from a AI pun writing website to remind you that you should have human comedy writers. And the puns that the robot spits out are consistently on par with the puns that this worm says.
A pun is not just replacing a word with another word.
I mean, that's part of the thing is his jokes are friggin' terrible. They weren't writing it like he was trying to be clever. Yes, and we are near the end of the movie here because the old turkey, the old wise turkey, they have their little Super Nintendo battle. And the worm comes back to life, and he's just like, well, I was going to come back to life. I don't know why this guy shot himself. But whatever, he thought it was funny.
So they are trying to get Muff's...
butt vortex?
Yeah, the ass vortex. But since Muff shot herself in the head, they don't remember how to do it. So Worm has to crawl in there and get Muff back online while they're having their Super Nintendo fight.
Do we want to describe for the good folks at home how a worm is able to open the vortex?
Why don't you go ahead, Patrick, since you brought it up?
Sure. Okay, fine. I'll take Chase Bullet. Worm inserts their, what would you call that? Just their body because they're just a worm?
The tail end?
Yeah.
Tail end. Into Muff's rectum. And just like, swirls it around well. Yeah, it gets things started.
Well, it's important to loosen it up first.
Yeah, start with one and then add two and then go from there.
Gotta lubricate.
A better way to write the joke that happens next is they open the vortex and I thought was going to transport things to space, but it seems to make it look like it's going to just disintegrate whatever gets thrown in there. And Yomi is conflicted about throwing Giblet into the vortex. And so she doesn't want to.
Turkey's son.
Oh yeah.
So she just didn't want to kill Turkey's son, but they have to get rid of the DVD, right? And the better joke would have been if while she's struggling, someone says, "Cast it into the ass, destroy it," and then she would say, "No."
Oh my God! See, that's too clever for this movie. That's too
Can
funny.
we fit both Star Wars and Lord of the Rings into one movie?
We do because it's Lord of the fucking Rings. It's Return of the fucking King. The movie just does not fucking end.
Just like this
you can
episode.
fit so much Star Wars and Lord of the Rings in this ass vortex.
So I forget the order of operations here.
PEMDAS. Nomi takes the wishbone.
Well, we forgot to mention where she got the wishbone. When they first meet the wise turkey, the wise turkey gives her the wishbone, saying, "You have something that Turkey does not." What does that mean? I don't think they ever explained it.
The wishbone.
No, they didn't. What's the story, Wishbone? What's this you're dreaming of?
It's the thing that the turkey doesn't have is the wishbone. I thought that's what they were talking about.
I know. I think he was just
missing this
saying.
part.
Turkey says that it's the one thing that Turkey doesn't have.
I think they were just saying stuff. No.
Sort of free association.
Kind of a guy with a microphone syndrome. What do you think, Dustin? As our premier guy with a microphone.
I just want to get back to the meat flapping part. That was fun. Okay, so we're at the end here, though. We are at the end because then she has the wishbone. Nomi takes the wishbone and like stabs Turkey with it, and he goes into that little ass vortex. And then her mind is floating around and says, "Hey, you should come up here too." And then they all disappear through the ass vortex, leaving Uncle Donnie and Muff and Rhonda the Worm to start work on the Thanksgiving land park.
So you see, this is the emotional core of the movie because Uncle Donnie previously lost his family, found this stray who doesn't know what Thanksgiving is, and uses her as a proxy for his family.
But he lost his family too.
Uh-huh. And so he doesn't want to let go of Yomi. He doesn't want to lose his new family.
Do you think that the next scene happens because they just had access to a backyard roller coaster?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Because otherwise, this movie would have ended about a half hour ago.
Oh, yeah. Well, did you also catch that he took parts of Pluckmaster 3000 out and put it inside of Muff? So now it's one thing. I don't know if you call it the Muff Master. Yeah. Is it Muff Master now, or is it Pluck Muffer?
Pluff.
I like Pluff better somehow.
Pluff.
You know, Pluff can probably be like
nope,
franchisable.
Okay, that's what you were gonna say.
Fluck Puffer?
No.
I think that's a burger joint.
Fluck Puffer? Yeah. They have good frozen custard there.
They allow you to get the gallon of iced tea.
No, you're right. It does sound like a chicken place.
But it serves turkey instead because it's more thematic.
Mm.
And then that's pretty much the end. That's it. We made it.
And if you thought this podcast was a slog, imagine the movie.
The movie is just as all over the place. That's why it's another one of those movies that we ran across where it's really hard to talk about because it is so chaotic in its storytelling that it's hard to keep track of it and talk about it. Unless we just talk about how it compares to Star Wars. I could just do that all night.
In my family, we kind of have a tradition where we go around and we all say what we're thankful for.
No, we're not doing that.
No, I was gonna say they did actually, I will say, at the end of the movie, they were actually able to pinpoint the heart of Thanksgiving, and I'm being dead serious. At the end, when Uncle Donnie is getting ready to open his Thanksgiving land, Rhonda has the brilliant idea to do it in space. And so I think they really reached the core of Thanksgiving, which is go colonize a planet, kill all of its natives, and build a theme park. And again, if that's not Thanksgiving.
Well, every time I see Donnie, I want to give him a little bit of credit. He's funded. I think he's funding this with his Pluckmaster money, and he's got a scruffy underdog story. And I just think, how does a bastard, orphan, son of a whore?
I was really, really hoping to see the Pluckmaster 3000 in action since it was so successful. No, the 3000.
At the beginning of the movie, when the kid was playing with it. You saw it.
But that was the model version.
I need to, Patrick, what's the next part of this podcast?
The next part of the podcast is Dustin play the goddamn Morgan Freeman.
In a way, I brought you here to offer you a job. You think you can do it better, so here's your chance.
Assorted guests and loved family members who may be reconsidering going no contact with me.
Well,
the next part of the game.
Here's what we can do, Patrick. Since Cammie had the idea of everybody going around and saying the thing that they're thankful for, but we're not going to do that. How about everybody goes around and says one thing that they would change about this movie?
But I have so many things I want to change about this movie.
I'm sure you do. I know.
No, this what would have made this movie better is scriptwriters.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you ladies have up there? What do you got?
Okay, this might be a little insulting, but better editors. Which is not to say I don't mean
Alan.
I don't necessarily mean, like I said, it's at some point an editor has to say this storyline isn't working. This throwaway gag is distracting.
Mm-hmm.
Let me bounce an idea off you.
Well, the director was also one of the main editors, so.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, there's your problem. Directors should not be editors.
And Alan was a part editor as well as the second unit. Makes me laugh about the other movie that you were so upset about there being a second unit on.
No, actually, I will allow it for this movie.
Patrick, you said you had something?
I would change both the beginning and the end. Yomi's not looking for her uterus mind. Yomi is looking for her home, and she thinks that the space vortex will send her there, and then realizes her home is here. And then her and Donnie have a bunch of weird puppet children, and that's the end of the movie.
I mean, he's already been inside her.
Well, he just fisted her though.
Yeah, but
can't get pregnant from fisting.
It was a very gentle thing, if you can imagine. Like, he was very timid about the whole thing.
I mean, it's your first time. You don't know if they can take it or not.
Yeah, but okay, the joke didn't go far enough, is what I'm saying. The joke was almost too subtle.
Okay, but in the world in which this joke exists, don't you think it would be real easy to go too far?
No.
It needs something in this movie.
Of course she would say that. Cammy,
No.
what is your thing?
So I think that if you're going to imply that the second movie had a very space theme, then you need to theme the third movie. And it needs to be a Western. They needed to lean into cowboys.
I don't actually think that would fix the movie.
See, Cammy, I'm sorry. If you want to talk about Oblivion, you have to go on Glass Half Full Moon. Here, we don't talk about Charles Band movies, and we're not doing cowboys in space. This is not the Cowboys of goddamn Moo Mesa. Give us a different third thing.
No,
What?
this is more Dances with Wolves.
What was that one horny Cowboys in Space movie? Petticoat Planet.
We're not watching
that.
Man, he hasn't watched House Soup, but he can pull Petticoat Planet just out of the ether.
It was a stranded astronaut who's on the most wanted list in a town full of lusty space cowgirls who haven't seen a man in years.
It's
Is
just
this the type of
spaceborne.
movie I need a VPN to watch?
Actually, yes, because the only copy he found of it is on a porn site loaded with malware.
Okay, but to your point.
I
To your
ripped the
point.
copy if you want it.
If they did theme this movie, why not make it a musical? Because they have the freaking musical version.
And that brings us back to why we picked this movie for fucking November, Dustin.
Well, because it's Thanksgiving. There was music. There was songs. It wasn't a musical, but there was music.
They really
was-
turned up the reverb for us.
And you didn't watch till the end. You didn't stick around for the end of the credits. So
Yeah,
you really don't
because
know.
after an hour and 40, I wanted to die.
I kind of crawled into a hole and prepared for death to come upon me.
And was that whole Yomi?
And Becca looked at me and said, we have to watch a good movie tomorrow.
After this
Yeah, you
movie,
kinda
I
have to-
needed a fist inside me to get me going again.
Whoa, no.
Okay,
no,
okay.
No,
Let's-
no on that one. I'm
eat
mixing
off.
that one.
It is after midnight. Let's wrap up.
Nice tits.
Well, thank you.
Well, yeah. So I think, God, do you guys, speaking of fists, do you guys have any plugs? I mean, anything you want to plug?
Oh, that's a different question.
Yes.
I'm starting this new project where I go onto podcasts as a guest. My main appearance has been found on Shelf, and I really recommend people listen to that. I found out that it's a thing the other day. I think my partner was watching an episode on Coffin Joe.
Yeah, that's true. Cammy doesn't listen to the podcast.
No, I listen to the podcast.
Do you know who else doesn't listen to the podcast?
None of you.
You know, I really just thought...
I do. How do you think we get our numbers up?
Talk to me.
I've got it on 5 VPNs right now. Cycling between them all, trying to get at least 10 listeners.
Okay. That reminds me of the story of the guy who AI generated music, then AI generated bots to listen to the music.
Oh,
thereby
yeah, I heard about
paying
that.
himself.
That was wild.
Brilliant.
That actually is art.
Yeah.
You
I'm
shouldn't
sorry.
go to
I'm
jail
sorry.
for
We
objectively
found a
funny
definition
crimes.
for AI art, and it's that. We're not doing other plugs. Before we wrap up, do we have any final thoughts from anyone?
I wanted to like this movie. I really did. Because I agree with Becca. There is a good movie in here, and I really wanted. I go in, and again with the start that it has. I'm with you, Patrick. It started great. I was like, okay, this is the type of movie I'm watching. I'm ready for it. I'm in that right mindset, and then it never delivered for me. So
Yeah, it happens.
Just watch the first one, I guess. I haven't seen it, but it's got to be better than this.
It's really not. I'm going to be honest.
Okay, but how does it compare to Death Toilet? Because the last episode I was in was Death Toilet.
Okay, so Mark Hughes of Forbes says that the first one is a comedy horror movie, but even the humor is awful. It's so damn awful that it doesn't need Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Do we trust Forbes?
No, but that's all I got.
That's all you got. No, but.
So, I would like to say that this movie does have a good public service message that it is okay to bring toys into the bedroom. If you don't have your own dick, a chainsaw will suffice.
In fact, some partners would prefer that.
Okay, actually, Becca, after he put on the
Yes?
machine, what did you say?
I told Patrick, wow, Chainsaw Man's a lot different than I thought.
You know what's funny is you're not that far off.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so what we talk about vagina dentata? What's happening here?
So is
it is
Chainsaw
Thanksgiving.
the counterpoint to vagina dentata?
That's your movie right there. Chainsaw Dick versus vagina dentata.
All right,
No, because,
Found on Shelf, now brought to you by Freudian Psychology.
Here's the problem: is vagina dentata is a masculine fear, right? And you don't need that much for women to fear for a feminine fear. We live in constant pressure and fear and turmoil every day just by existing.
Well, you just had to get serious about it.
That was too deep. I'm sorry, y'all.
I don't know. Then what would be the good battle?
The good.
No, you just have Chainsaw Dick go to Chainsaw Dick. It's like,
oh, Chainsaw Dick frauding.
Chainsaw frottage? Frottage? I've only ever read that word. I've never pronounced it.
I thought they called it docking. Am I thinking something else?
Spec, the way you said it sounded like it's an Olympic event.
It is an Olympic event.
No, it sounded like dressage.
Frottage.
Oh my God.
All right, we are the Found on Shelf podcast. If you like what I do, please like and subscribe and rate us. For the love of God, please leave a review. You can even leave a review saying you hated this episode, but some feedback would be wonderfully appreciated. Apple Podcasts, give us a line. If you rate it 5 stars but say you hate it, we'll still read it on air. We're desperate for attention, as you can tell.
Please pay attention to me.
No, shit.
I don't know. Maybe it'll help. Aren't people clamoring for ooh trans girls? Come on.
I mean, yeah. Woo woo trans girls coming soon to the Found on Shelf podcast network.
Prepare to beat off.
Wait a minute. What are you all doing in my spare room? How did you get in the video store? What's all this food? What are you doing here? Get the fuck out! Get out of my store!
Cause we be gangsta heads and that's what gangsta heads do. Boom shakalaka, ain't that what they say? I got a clock with your name on it every day. Discount at McDonald's, I'd like me a McChicken. There's a hole in my box that you could stick a dick in.
You know, Dustin likes sprinkle, he likes tinkle, and he loves it with the wrinkle.
Wait, what? Patrick, help.
I am so sorry and generous with what I have given you.
Go on.
Cammy, go to bed.
I can force feed you, Dustin.
You guys can sign off.
Cammy, go to bed.